The record button is now on. Before we get going into our agenda, are there any announcements or anything that anyone would like to see if we could potentially add to the agenda? It's a pretty generic agenda. I think the biggest topic on here this week is really our staffing report from our staffing committee. Other than that, it's a lot of basic stuff. So there might be some time in there if anyone had something that they really wanted to add to it. I do not see any hands. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. Dean's report. So Dean Markovich, thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you here for a few minutes. So thank you, and you're on.
Thanks, Lenny. Hey, everybody. Congratulations on getting to the end of the semester. Hopefully the final lap of the COVID lap. Hopefully we can get back to some sort of normalcy in the fall and keep inching our way through things. Couple things. I first want to say congratulations to Allie. I don't know if everybody's known, Allie has accepted and been offered our full-time faculty position for volleyball head coach and generalist. So congratulations, Allie. We will be, Lenny and I will be adding to your academic schedule rather soon for the falls, so you can get prepped on that. So congratulations. And then we will be starting the tenure process with you. So pretty exciting for us. And hopefully exciting for you. So we're super happy that you accepted the job. So congratulations. Second big thank you to Josh. I don't know, is Josh here? Where you at, Josh? There's Josh. Josh went through some heavy lifting this spring with Monica having her baby and being out. Josh, you know what, Josh, you did an amazing job. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Josh.
It was amazing.
Would have never made it without you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
It was amazing. So once we get Monica back in the fold, we'll be be able to let you breathe a little bit. But yeah,
Thank you. I
Maybe.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone helped me out. It wasn't me alone. And one fun fact is I have COVID right now. Yeehaw.
What?
So
So
what
do you
timing?
want COVID? Go to Josh.
I'll be over,
Yeah.
Josh, in about 30 minutes.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
So anyways, again, Josh, can't thank you enough. It was seamless without Monica here. I was extremely high stress level, but you did amazing. So great job. And then one more big thank you to Lenny. You guys, this is Lenny's last meeting as department chair, and he's been the chair since I've been here, and probably 20 something years. Thank you for everything, Lenny. Kept all the time bugging you every day, and I still will bug you. So, but just can't tell you how amazing you are and what a great job, and how grateful I am that you were in that spot through my first many years here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Wagner.
Yeah. And I don't know if Tara's here, but we'll welcome Tara on board. She'll be taking over chair come early August. So any questions throughout the summer, please send them to Lenny as he'll continue to work over the summer, and then Tara will take on the chair duties come fall. So, and Lenny will get a little time to breathe. Next thing on my list is Towser bond plans. So just a quick update on Towser. Starting tomorrow, they're going to start looking at some rooms. David Wellman's office will be looked at a little bit. The gymnasium will be looked at a little bit, and some of the locker rooms will get in and looked at a little bit. And then Monday, they're going to start digging holes to look at the structural stuff around the outside of Towser. I'm sorry, not outside, inside of Towser. They're going to be digging some holes inside of Towser to make sure that they look at some of the structural stuff below the building, so they get a better idea what needs to get submitted to DSA. The indoor investigation, I'll call it, will be done before summer school starts. Okay, so it'll be basically like a 3-week period. There'll be a little bit going on still indoors for that first week of summer school, but all the major rooms, the dance room, the weight room, that'll be done. Throughout summer school, though, so there will be digging going on around the building. So there will be some noise throughout summer school. We'll try and isolate when classes are in session for summer school and make sure that some of the digging is done at off times. But just wanted to give you a heads up, there will be some digging being done on the outside of Towser throughout the summer school. It's really important that we get it done so we can get our plans to DSA, our final plans to DSA. I mean, all the design's been there, but DSA needs more structural information before we could get moving. We are still planning to move in December, in early January. So everyone will be able to start packing up come mid-fall. We'll start getting you boxes and all that stuff and be able to start packing up mid-fall. We are looking at a move date of early January. So you do not have to be on site to be moved. You'll just need to identify what you want moved. That will consist of IT moving computers and you having everything boxed up and being moved and stuff like that. They are starting the work on Anley Village in the fall. It's going to be a interesting spring schedule, to say the least. We are going to have to be super flexible with what we offer and where we offer it and stuff like that. So we only have one weight room building. So the whole weight room is going to need to go into one building. So the whole weight room is not getting moved. We will have one dance studio. We will have one wrestling room, and we will have one like yoga type room, fitness room. So there'll be a little bit of flexibility, but not as much as we had hoped. Okay, so all those plans will be coming quick to you, but just wanted to give you an update. June 23rd is our ribbon cutting for the phase 1 and phase 2 of the outdoor facilities. So the ribbon cutting is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the pool deck. And so we will have a guest speaker, and Jill could chime in and fill us in on who that is. After the guest speaker, we plan on opening up all the facilities and letting people just kind of roam around and look around at the facilities. So I sure hope you guys can make it, invite as many people as possible and make this a big event, get the word out about the facilities. So next is kind of some COVID updates I sent to the coaches, but I want to go over them a little bit. You know, the masking indoor requirements is in effect up and through graduation on Saturday. After that, it becomes optional. Okay, and these are the latest that I know. So if someone knows differently, let me know. Vaccination requirements are going to be in effect until further notice. Okay, so they're not going away, the vaccination requirements. So you need to be fully vaccinated, which is 2 shots, or you need to have the students do their exemptions. Yeah, Cassandra, you got something different than I know.
No, I think a student just mentioned, that they're still going to have to test if they're not vaccinated. Which led me to my question was, what's going on? Is it going to be the same protocols in the fall as it is now? If there's exposure, like you have to stay home a week, you have to blah, 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 do all that stuff?
That's a really good question. From what I know is the only thing changing as of right now is the masking policy, that it becomes optional. So that's kind of where we are right now. So my guess is yes, that if you get exposed, you got to get tested and stay home and all that stuff, unless things dramatically change. God knows I vote to let it all change. So, but that's where we are right now. There will be safety monitors in the fall and in the summer with the wristband process still going. There are no more social distancing come fall. So I know in the summer we still have those hour breaks in our classes, but come fall, there's no more social distancing. So the class sizes go back to normal, the times go back to normal, and the masking is optional. Those are the changes. All meetings, so you guys know if you're on committees, they plan on coming back to in person in the fall. Okay, Board of Trustees meetings and things like that. So those are kind of my COVID updates. I will, if you have questions, I can find out answers, but that's kind of the latest I know. I was really hoping that the vaccination requirement would, go away and let people decide what they want to do. And I'm just super concerned about enrollment. Summer and fall minimums are going back, so you guys know. They're going back to normal, 22 minimums. What else is going to happen too is we've been really, and probably me more than anybody else has been really working hard with individual faculty members to make classes go. And so we've been really flexing on certain requirements and dates when to cut or extend or change dates. That's going away. So when they put out not the new, but when they put out the requirements for if your class is not at single digit or not at double digits by 2 weeks out, it's gonna get reduced. Okay, so we really gotta be on enrollment. That goes for every class, athletic, all the way through our lecture courses. Okay, there's not going to be much flexibility with all of that as we're going to be allowed, and that's going to start in the summer. So we got to make sure that you, as individual faculty, know when your class starts. Make sure it's over double digits before 2 weeks out. Otherwise, it's going to get reduced. Okay, and that's going to obviously go into the fall as well. And this is all, remember, nothing's absolute, and this is all now. And if things change, if something happens, outbreak, whatever, things are gonna happen. But I want you guys to be prepared and know up front that I've been really flexible and really lax on all this stuff about class size and when we're cutting stuff and things like that. So we're really gonna have to do that. I mean, I just did the PRPP with our numbers, and it's the first time that I've updated pretty much the whole PRPP since I've been here. And to look where our productivity numbers are this last year compared to where they were last time it was updated is pretty astonishing. So, I mean, our productivity right now is like at a 10 or 11, and usually it's at like an 18. So, and that's obviously a COVID thing, but as we venture back into the non-COVID world, we're back to some sort of normalcy, we need to start generating that productivity up again. So we need to get our classes up there. And then last thing that I have, and then I'll open it for questions, is Friday, June 3rd, grades are due. And I always bug you about grades. It's because I'm told to bug you about grades. I would be happy not to bug you about grades. That means you have to get your grades in. So, so Friday, June 3rd, grades are due. Okay? Questions? Awesome. Well, I can't thank you guys
I
enough.
have one question.
Yeah.
I have one question. I know I'm working with Lenny on this, and I'm sure a lot of coaches have this problem too. So I'm facing so many repeatability code problems. And so it's really jacking up my roster sizes. And so I just hope when we are working towards solutions, whether we're adding another non-loaded section or something, that those numbers get counted together for an overall roster for a class, because mine is a mess. I mean, I have, for the first time ever, like students I've had for 4 years, they're going to be in their 4th year with me next year, which like never has happened before, but there's a lot of them. There's like 12 of them on my team, or 15, something like that. It's crazy. So I just hope they're flexible with us and how they're accounting the actual roster of people enrolled in that class, because repeatability is going to be a problem.
They automatically combine the totals of combo classes. Like, for
Okay.
example, we have yoga 6.0, 6.1, 6.2. In each one of those line items on an enrollment report, it will show you how many people enrolled in 6.0, and then it'll show you the total for all three. And
Okay.
so always that number will be seen individually with the courses and collectively with the courses. So you can't miss it unless it gets loaded as not a combo with it, which sometimes that happens. And so it's
Right.
important to check your load, because you might have a class that's just floating out there by itself that's not attached to some other classes.
Okay.
But that's already happens. And hopefully some of those solutions I sent you will work out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I was thinking about that too, because I know Lenny and I always deal with a bunch of petitions, and you guys do too. We could look at, maybe doing an alpha 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, which would add just writing
That
a
would
little
be
bit more
super
curriculum.
helpful.
Okay, I put you in charge of writing that curriculum.
All right.
So moving on.
Dang it.
But anyways, that's another option, because obviously the alpha 1 you could do 4 times, but if you have an alpha 1.1, we could use it as emergency type things. So we're not really stuck in all that. And those should be easy to write by just, changing it, copy and paste and changing a few things in that. So that's something that we should really look into.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to remind Tara, because she's gonna be doing the schedule development from here on out. And so when you have weird combos, just remind her that we've done that before, like with plyometrics and then advanced swim, or something like that.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, it's going to be a big learning curve for Tara when it comes to the athletic side. I know Lenny and I are extremely creative when it comes to our repeatability type issues in athletics. So just be out front and be upfront and be patient with Tara so she can get up to speed.
Okay, no other
Any other
questions?
questions? Nope. Good. All right. Thank you guys again for a semester and fighting through all this COVID stuff. We'll just keep inching along. Oh, last thing, Lenny, sorry. Working on getting the new pool up and running by the 6th. So we have a date on that to where we'll take it on, be open. And then also looking for the Bailey building upstairs to be complete so we can start moving upstairs on the 6th as well.
Will those facilities, like, will that upstairs be open when they do the ribbon cutting ceremony?
Yes, that's our plan, to open up every facility. So we as long as you or Dante or David are going to be around to showcase it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then anything that we need to be doing from a football side or department chair side on getting the scoreboard thing going? Is that out of
No,
our hands?
no, I got that dialed. You're good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And thanks, Matt, for another great semester, man, of support. There's a lot of younger faculty than I am in this room. We haven't always had a leader like this in our department. And so even though it's our normal, this has not always been our normal. And so I really appreciate you, Matt. Sometimes that's hard. You always think of like how you could make a program better and you don't realize how good your normal is, and so I just think it's a good lesson, but thank you for everything that you do. You have made my job really easy. So moving into my report, I do not have a whole lot to say other than I'll go through a few items here, but grades. The reason Matt is on us is because somebody's on him. And the reason I bring it up is because it gets brought up to me. And when you guys are late on them, then it gets brought up to Matt, and then it gets brought up to me again. And so just please be aware that students are super anxious to get their grades. In many cases, they need them to transfer. And in a lot of cases, the people down in A&R, like that's how they close the chapter or close the book on their semester, is being able to get all their stuff submitted. So when they're waiting for people, it makes it hard to do that. So just one more shout out about getting the grades in on time. Moving on to schedule, summer and fall. Those schedules are up. I've received some feedback really fast, which was great because we were able to make some changes and get some sections adjusted as they were needed. I feel like that as of now, I have not heard of any requested changes that have not been made or some type of remedy for a solution. So if there are some, please reach out to me and we can see if there's still something I can do. Now that there's already enrollment in all of our summer and fall classes, it really makes it a lot more problematic to make a change. But it's something each case we can consider and look at what the damage control would be. But please check on that. And like Matt said, they've been ratcheting it up each semester on making sure that we follow scheduling guidelines and canceling classes. And now we have 2 new vice presidents coming in to the college. So there's some unknown territory coming up for us. And so those of you that are on district committees, please continue to keep kicking butt and representing. When there's turnover, there's all the historic knowledge that is forgotten, and many of the conversations that have already been had, and many of the things that we've already said that promote what we do, they get lost in that, and they need to be said again. And so if you're not on a district committee and you're able to be on a district committee, I'd really encourage that. And those of you that are on there, thank you for doing that stuff. But there's some turnover right now. And so this could be a time to think of some outside the box ideas too. So any questions about the schedule or the summer or fall schedule? Okay, great. In regards to the summer and fall schedule, one thing that came into effect starting in the fall was any of our classes that did not have official distance ed approvals that were only allowed to be distance ed through the emergency waiver. They go back to pre-COVID times now where it has to have a fully approved distance ed proposal, which still is not a huge deal to get done. But if it wasn't done already, then it couldn't be allowed in that modality for the fall 22 semester. So in only a couple of occasions, we tried to schedule a class that we thought maybe we had done or it fell through the cracks, and we had to end up canceling it, but it was part of a combo. And so it didn't really impact the instructor or the class all that much. But if you're wondering why certain classes, we had to start abiding by that, and that came into effect starting in the fall. So if there are classes that you wish to make distance ed approved, if it's, in the summer, contact me. Anytime after that would be to contact Tara, and she can point you in the right direction of that stuff. And I know there's a lot of faculty in our department that have really good knowledge of the distance ed proposal as well that you could reach out to if you're looking for help. Committee reports. So starting alphabetical, we'll go Academic Senate.
Okay, Tara's not here, but I'll jump in. So I jumped back into Senate after being gone. So I'm in there as vice president, and then there was a little snafu with me that I think you guys read, as voted in as Area 10 representative. So I had to get voted in as an at-large representative. But luckily, fortunately, I get to continue. So thank you for your support in that, in terms of representing CAD and health sciences. And so if you think about stuff over summer or now or whatever, feedback for Academic Senate stuff, just let me know. Tara is also still a senator next year as well. And then there's no other senators continuing in the fall, I don't think, right? From our department anyway. And then we were trying to finish up the faculty hiring policy, but there's a lot of robust conversation about that. So things move a little slower, but I think the products that we're starting to put out are really good and really going to help diversify and also clean up the process in general in terms of faculty hiring, both associate and full-time. And I think what's going to happen is the progress to date is going to be forwarded to the district so that it can be enacted at least for next year, because in the fall, we're going to have to finish up the policy. We weren't able to finish up the last little bit. And then what else? I think that's it for now, just in terms of the committees. The Academic Senate does appoint people to most of those committees, and there's a lot of openings. So if y'all can check your email, or if you don't have it, email me if you're interested in jumping in on one of those, because there were a lot of holes, and they keep calling out for more representation due to the kind of turnover that's going on. And then I believe that's it. But when we send out these reports, or you ever think of anything that's Academic Senate related, or you have questions, please let me know, let Tara know, and we will represent you, because it's not supposed to be us, going in that room. We're supposed to represent our constituency as Area 10. So please make your voices heard. Any questions or anything I missed for people that do follow the Senate stuff? Cool. Thanks, Lenny.
Thank you, Monica. Next up is AFA.
Hi, everybody. I apologize for the grievance officer being up there. I just came from another meeting, grievance related, so that's why that's up there, and I don't have the ability to change my name, so I apologize for that. I've been working, this is unusual, but I've been working with a couple of different faculty members from different departments that could not attend PDA because of other district related assignments. And in the notice of absence, there's no way for faculty to say I was doing other work and couldn't attend PDA. So I just want to let you know, coaches, if you are gone for a district, a PDA because of a game or something, please let me know, and I can work with Matt and HR. Matt did a really good job on helping all of our faculty with that. And I'm working with another dean in another department, but that's been kind of a tricky thing, and they took that off and the NOA form. So anyway, it was pretty easily resolved, but don't feel like you have to use your sick leave if you're still doing work on behalf of the district. So that's a big thing. The other thing is our tentative agreement was just passed. And the tentative agreement is related to changes in the contract. Regarding salary, our application of the rank 10 formula, that gives us a 3.7% increase in salary, pending the budget approval on the 5.3 COLA. So that's a 3.7% increase in salary, folks, that AFA got you. I hope you like the money. They're also improving benefits. The tentative agreement improves benefits, offers more benefits to adjunct faculty, and the CCCCI, 8 million C's and an I, which is a group of union members from different colleges. They're working on getting $200 million for part-time faculty medical benefits across all of California community colleges, or maybe it's 200 billion. It's one of those. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. We're trying to get part-timers more medical coverage. Another item in the tentative agreement was provisions for department rights and what is now a negotiated definition or of the term department. Chair release time, which that was the formula was recalculated and updated. Many departments had chair release time formulas that were really outdated and like not enough release time at all. And so that's pretty cool. So we're seeing chairs of departments that have several different disciplines underneath them getting paid better for their work. The tentative agreement also makes it easier for full-time faculty and part-time faculty to transfer between departments. So if somebody's in the dance department and wants to go work for the theater department, they can transfer to that department. And then there was an addition to the contract about privacy and intellectual property rights. This has a lot to do with our online teaching modality and students sharing confidential screenshots of faculty Canvas pages and Canvas assignments and Canvas correspondence, which they are not supposed to do. So anyway, great use of our of the money that is raised for the union by becoming a member. I pay $68 a month as a member of the union. If you are interested in, if you're not signed up, part-time faculty and full-time faculty are encouraged. If you're not signed up as a member, there's a lot of great benefits to being a member. So I just put the link to the form in the chat. It's very easy to sign up. Let me know if you guys need anything contractually, and I hope y'all have a great summer. Thanks.
Thanks, Cassandra. Let's see here. Okay, we're up to our EDI committee, and we do not have anything really to report at this time. We've been meeting and discussing some options, and we're looking forward to coming back with something in the fall for you guys to add to some of our, we thought as a department that this was something that was viable and something that was needed and something that we all agreed on, and we want to make those valuable learning experiences for everybody. So we're putting in some work to come up with some good ideas, but nothing really to report on right now. Which would bring up our next committee is our staffing committee, and our staffing committee met today, and I'm going to let Jill take over here to go through the staffing committee report. So Jill, go ahead and take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll try and keep it brief. We had a really good discussion. We had some time over the last few weeks to look over the proposals that were submitted. Some just rolled over from previous years and some were new. And we realized today that we have a lot to discuss. And so we kind of got in a position where we're thinking of working on two different avenues. One is a purely athletics avenue, and then one is like an other category for this year. And so far, kind of rising to the top on for full-time coaching position and kinesiology generalist is head women's softball coaching position, full-time coaching position, and then a head men's and women's water polo position. So those were the top two, kind of rising to the top as per our discussion today. And then on the other side, the two big ones that we're talking about are a third athletic trainer, full-time athletic trainer. And this is what the main process of our discussion was, is that we really feel like, especially with the couple of years we've been in and what we've seen with our student athletes, more struggles than ever before on the academic side and needing more support than ever before, that we need some sort of position and that is a student success, student athlete, academic advisor full-time position. And I know we've gone about it in different ways over the years, and we have some great collaborative relationships already with counseling and DRD, but we really feel like we need a full-time position of somebody to be in charge of that full go. But we didn't feel like we really had that submitted as a nice, clean job description yet. And so over the summer and the fall, the committee is going to put together a proposal for that. And we are going to submit that along with the other ones that we're recommending before we have our department vote in the fall. So you'll have plenty of time to see it before we vote on it. And then at that point, Matt, just to remind everybody, Matt takes the staffing committee's recommendation and rankings, and then he also weighs in the department's vote recommendations when we put that together. So those two pieces of information will then go forward to Matt, and then Matt makes the final decision, and then he'll go and fight for whatever positions he thinks that we can get this year. And so that's kind of where we're at. So you'll hear back from us in the fall.
Thank you, Jill. I would just like to add maybe just a couple things in regards to how these are recommendations. You know, our staffing committee makes a recommendation that we think is what should happen. And then you guys do the same thing as faculty, and we are part of that also, I guess. And then Matt could put positions in there that weren't even on that list. You know, it is truly a recommendation to Matt. And then at the next level, when Matt goes to make his case for these positions, that staffing committee is going to make a recommendation. And that recommendation could be different than Matt's. And when it moves forward, it's a recommendation that has to be approved by the president. And then it's only a recommendation there. And even the president then could add jobs in there, take jobs out, switch them around. So I think we really do a good job of kind of getting our ducks in a row to make sure that we're representing our entire department the way we do things. But always knowing that these are all just recommendations. You know, so I'm proud of our department that we put in the time to do that, because knowing that at any point, anybody along the way could change that. And so we just have to have faith that, you know, we're all on the same page, and in terms of our dean, you know, and us, and then at the next level too. And it doesn't always work out that way, but most of the time it's pretty close. So I just want to always throw that out there, because sometimes I think, and even I did early on, when the dean would say, this is the position we're going for, you'd assume that position happened. And we've seen, for those of you that have been here for a long time, we've had positions make the cut and then get thrown out of the cut, and vice versa. So anyway, just always want to throw that in there. But thank you, Jill, for the report. Are there any questions about staffing or our committee? All right. So let's see here, moving on. Well, you guys, that is the last agenda item. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up or share, or anything that they feel is pertinent to the conversation?
I just have a quick question, Lenny. And maybe we don't know the answer to this yet, but are we meeting in person or continuing on Zoom next semester? I know it's up to the department, or at least I think it is, but I wasn't sure what the plan was for CAD.
That's a really good question. I don't really have a good answer for you, other than I would ask CAD to send me your preference, and then I'll just report out to everybody that this many people, I think ultimately, to be the most efficient, we could maybe try to do both. I don't know. That would just be a suggestion. So if somebody couldn't do it as an emergency, they could do it by Zoom. But anyway, I'm open to whatever you guys say. So shoot me an email and then I'll report something out over the summer of what the feedback was. You can just reply to the meeting notes that I'll be sending out probably later today or tomorrow. Yeah, Monica.
Lenny, would it be possible, because before it's like there's this view of like, oh, we're either all the way back in person or we're not, but then we all know that there's a capacity to kind of do both. Like, so in academic senate, they've always kind of zoomed in the Petaluma campus. I wonder, to be the most like, inclusive, especially for our associate faculty that maybe are in between jobs or something, that I wonder if we could do both like you recommended, and maybe we can't meet in that little room. Maybe we'd have to go to the library or something, but I wonder if that's, if people are interested, if that would work. If especially our associate faculty, or when coaches are traveling or whatever, if that might be an option.
Yeah, I think so many times our coaches miss because they're sitting on a bus and they could be sitting there with a headphone in, probably make the time go by faster.
I actually did that twice
or
this
slower.
year. It
Or
was
slower.
nice. Yeah, that was helpful. I think for accessibility and getting critical mass, a hybrid's ideal, but if you don't have the technology set up where everyone can clearly hear everybody, it's a total pain in the ass. So just thinking through it, I like being in person most of the time, but I think for these type of meetings, since they're brief and going forward, and maybe we'll see what Tara has to say about it, but sometimes I think these we've had, but the last few meetings we had in person, there were like 5 people in the room. So this has been better, I think, especially if they're only like an hour or 2 meeting. I think Zoom might be the way to go, unless we definitely have the technology on campus to make it so everyone can hear in a hybrid situation, but we would need to have that set up, because if you have just like a computer and like the sound is not great, because I've been in those meetings and they're not great.
Any other questions or comments? Finals, you guys? It's Wednesday.
One more thing, Len.
Yep.
Actually, a couple things just popped in. I want to ask that the staffing committee, when they talk about, you were talking about kind of like an academic liaison type thing. We are producing that new study center with our bond dollars. That study center I want open, if we can get a position, I want open to all CAD students. So dancers, APE, general CAD student. So when we think about that academic resource specialist for athletics, let's think about it, try and think about it. How does it work if it's all CAD students? How do we help the whole CAD department with transfer model, with application deadlines, financial aid deadlines, that type of information? So just keep that connected when you guys start thinking about that. Thank you. I want to ask a couple things for the coaches. Let's, if you guys could please organize a athletic orientation committee. I want to get the athletic orientation back on campus come middle of October, middle of August. So if you guys could put together a 3 or 4 person committee, let me know who it is, and we can start having meetings this summer. And then last thing for fall coaches, we are already having a hard time getting buses. So first come, first serve on buses. I got Lenny's schedule in and we put it out to the company we want to use, and they could only do 1 date. So we went to another company and they can't do any of the dates. So the sooner you get your schedules in, the sooner we can look for buses. If you don't get buses, you're going to get vans, but there's only so many bus companies. So so get your schedules in as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Ben?
Yeah.
We got anything planned for Mr. John McCallum that's been at the college for decades?
I don't.
Okay.
Is he
Is he
retired?
out, is he out right now?
He's not retiring.
Isn't he retiring this year?
No, he's just getting his 30-year pin at the lunch tomorrow.
I thought, okay, never mind.
John's never retiring.
I thought he was retiring. I was
But
devastated.
Marty, feel free to go to the party that he invited you to at his house with John Henry.
We got to do things. We can't let guys like Jake just walk off into the sunset.
That is correct. I agree.
I'm
with
going to do something for Jake. So you guys will all get an invite. It'll be at my house, but he put a lot of years in. And so did
Yeah,
John.
agreed.
I thought he was retired. He keeps telling me, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood one of his grumblings. Sorry.
And so, Jake is still going to be around. We got him classes every semester. He's just not going to be the head coach.
No, I understand that.
Yeah. And thanks for bringing that up because it's important. It's important that I announce that Fred has been put in as the interim head wrestling coach for a year. Okay. So Fred Doer's the new head wrestling coach, interim with the interim title. Jake has stepped away, but Jake will be his assistant and Jake will still teach a one class.
Perfect. That was all I had.
All right. Well, I think we're done a few minutes ahead of schedule, you guys. Thanks for a great meeting and thanks for the opportunity to represent you guys for all these years. It was fun and it was a great team. So thanks. And I'm looking forward to the future semesters. So enjoy your summer and I'll be sending the meeting notes out with the recording, like I said, either later today or tomorrow. And if you have questions that come along, reach out. Other than that, have a great day, great summer. See everybody.
Thanks, Lenny.
Thanks, Lenny. Good.
Thanks, Lenny.
Thanks, Len.
Hey, Len,
Yeah.
you have a guy named Jacob Bloom trying out for you by chance?
Jacob Bloom.
Yeah, put that number in your phone, that name in your phone. He is a complete nut job. He tried out for soccer, but he says he's going to try out for football.
Oh man, I got so many dudes like that right now that show
No,
up.
dude, like weird shit. Like he got my number and he's texting me weird shit. And I know his dad. His dad played at the JC and played at Oregon. He's a good dude. And I mean, considering the shit that just happened, like, yesterday and all the shit, and I said, hey, this kid needs help, man. And he's like, no, he's never done this before. And I say, that doesn't mean he doesn't need help. I mean, he's just saying some weird shit. So I called Ethington. Ethington didn't call me back. And I called Browning just to say, hey, let's get his name on the scope. Like he just moved here. He lives in Petaluma and he's gonna try out. He came out. I told him he couldn't come out. Yes, he was in the class, completely out of shape. And he just left. That was our conversation. I said, hey, you need to work on fitness. That was it. I didn't like get up on him or anything. And super bizarre. And then he waits a month and he just berates me with fucking text. That last couple of days, I didn't even tell my wife, but just like, fuck you and I'll drop you and all this shit. And
Holy shit.
oh yeah, I never seen shit like that. And then then his mom's calling me, telling me to block him. And I go, I'm not blocking him. I go, fuck that. I go, tell the kid to stop. I go, I'm keeping all those texts he's sending me.
Yeah,
I go,
that's smart.
I go, it's not his rules. It's, I don't abide by his rules like you guys do. And then he's telling me, like, block me, you cunt. Just kept going, dude. It was like, my phone was just pinging. And I go, I don't even, man,
What high school did he go to in Petaluma?
he didn't go in Petaluma. I think he went in Marin. His parents separated. I'll send you his name, Jacob
Yeah.
Bloom.
I'll remember the name Jacob Bloom because I had a friend named Jeremy Bloom growing
Yeah.
up.
So,
Okay.
hey, real quick story. I was in San Diego, went to this, and my brother-in-law is having a tough go. So I took him out one night and he goes, hey, let's go to this one bar. You'll like it. Because I hate some of those San Diego bars, but it was this total dive. Like, it was awesome. Barbara and I walked in, carpet on the ground. The pool tables, they were doing left, right, center with die. You had to put your phone out. I almost won it. You put your phone out, you throw die. And then they had dartboards and just like characters. I go over to the bar. I look back, Steve Chin, Hall of Fame.
No way.
In the bar. And I go, oh, no, I know. I literally like this bar. So
He
they
is a
were
legend.
talking about Chinner. Like some dude one night was having an issue and Chin just walked over and just dropped this guy and then sat back down. Just, yeah, it was funny. I was thinking about you after.
Oh, he was the man.
Yeah, he was a good
He was
dude.
so bizarre. The last time I saw him, I felt really bad because he came walking into Willie Bird's, and I was up at the bar having a drink with a friend, and he came. This was, probably 5 years ago or something. How long ago did he pass away? Was it like 3 years?
Right around then. Yeah.
It was right before that, and he came walking in, and he had on combat boots and shorts, and the hair was standing straight up. He looked really bad, and I made a joke like, "Man, you look like you look like a vagrant, or something like that." And then I went outside and saw his truck, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
I didn't know he was up this way. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he knows we live up here. I met him just like at my brother-in-law's wedding, and he was like the only dude I was hanging out with. Like all these San Diego dudes, and I immediately was like, oh, I know. And my wife was laughing. She goes, I knew you were gonna hang out with Steve Chan, of all the dudes.
Yeah, he came up here right before he passed. He looked really bad, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't look
Yeah.
good to begin with. He was always unkept, and kind of had that was his deal. Yeah, he looked really bad, unfortunately. But I'm glad he's in the Hall of Fame and he's remembered as a legend down there.
Oh, they love. As soon as I said his name, they're like, you knew him, and it was in his football Poway football thing. And I didn't know him as well as you, obviously, or my brother. My brother-in-law, he was like, those guys were tight. They were like best friends.
Hey,
There's a stain at my Kim's parents' house where Steve Chin threw up.
I love it. Marked for life. Hey, should I let
Yeah.
Carrie Stillman in the meeting? She just logged in.
And that was good. I knew Jill was going to come in with the presentation, but I mean, like, man, and
Her and Monica too, another trainer.
you got bumped out, and I was talking about like you got solid strength coaching, and we do a pretty good job between me and Dave. But we didn't lift when I played, but I like lifting. But I always think like, man, it's changed so much. And this young dude was at the high school I was at when I went to this tournament the other day, and they were like, this guy's the secret. And like, I know you don't need it, but I think there's other people that need it. I would speak, and I just like going in the weight room and like going here, like not going. I've just hammered him on the field. Now I got to fucking hammer him again. I'm like, I just feel like we don't do a good job in that area.
I totally agree with you. And I think that our guys getting hammered all the time by Dante is not good for Dante.
Exactly.
So I agree, but we have so many CrossFitters in our coaching ranks, man. They're that's why I'm like, that's a losing battle. We're outnumbered.
No, I know. But I like Dante would be good with my guys. Like they don't know him. He comes in, gets on him, and then he doesn't see him again. Like, doesn't carry to the field if they had a bad session in the weight room or not still, or vice versa,
Yeah.
So my Hispanic guys just don't like to lift. I was going in at COVID. I was going in on Sunday mornings by myself and lifting. And I put it out to guys. A couple guys came in, a couple guys wanted to lift. And then guys were like, can we play soccer? And they would come in and they would kind of lift, but they just walk around the weight room. They just creatively walk around. So, and I just get tired. I get tired of like hammering them. So I just tell them, I go, I'm going to lift. If you want to lift, lift. If you don't want to lift, you're going to be weak on the field. So,
Yep.
Right on.
All right, man.
All right, brother. All right, take care.
Seeing you, bro. See you. I'm Carrie Stillman, shit out of luck. All right, see ya.